welcome to my channel. What are we doing today? Today we are using my Cali art markers. Yeah guys, I've had these since 2018, I think, when I first started my art journey. These markers have been with me. Now these markers are non-refillable. They're in the bargain friendly end of the marker spectrum, and I still have them even with all the use that I've put on them and the lack of use that I've done with them over the time. I'm still with them, but it's not about these markers today. We're looking at the Strathmore toned mixed media paper. Now there's an interesting story regarding this little paper pad, because I actually wrote the Strathmore company and I asked them if they could kindly send me a sample of their mixed media paper. Now I was thinking maybe they will send me a single sheet or two for me to try out, but they actually sent me a nice little pad that comes with 9 different sheets, 3 each of their different media tones. And we're going to be talking about this little paper and what are we going to be doing today for our illustrated piece. Okay, so this little paper comes with 3 representative, or 3 little 4 by 6 inches, 10.2, 15.2 centimeters cut mixed media paper of tone tan. Three samples we get: tone gray and tone blue mixed media paper. Now this is 300 GSM or 184 pound paper, so it's pretty thick paper, and it's vellum paper. I believe you can use this paper with wet and dry medium. So I did put this paper through the tests and I have those results right here. I used it for, let me bring you guys in a bit. Okay, so here we are. Now this is their tone blue paper. It's actually a paper we'll be working with today. And yeah, I've tried it. Now these are the same mediums that I tried on all 3. I use the Ohuhu alcohol-based markers on all 3 to see how those will look. I use Prismacolors on all 3 to see how it looks. And I use the Etcher watercolors on all 3 to see how that would look, except for the tone gray where I started my Etcher watercolor in red. I also did some color mixing on all 3, using all 3 papers to see how those would look as well. So yeah, so I really try to use this paper prior to me bringing you guys this paper. And what I found is I'm not really good with color pencils on this paper, as you can see. Yeah, now I'm not blaming the paper for this. I'm saying maybe my technique isn't really good, and I don't think I'm really good with watercolor also on this paper, but I did seem to have great success with markers, and henceforth we're using the Cali art. Okay, so I have used the tone blue paper to do this little illustration here. As you can see, it is all pre-drawn up, all pre-lined up. It's just a little bumblebee going back to its hive. And what I've also did to see how the colors would look on this paper, I also did a bit of swatching on the flip side. It's actually on the flip side of this paper, so yeah, I swatched it out, and as you can see, there's no bleed through, not even with the other thing. So that's pretty good when it comes to this paper. So I did a bit of swatching to see how the colors that I've chosen would look on this paper. As you can see, I'm working with a pretty limited palette, and I also pulled out this baby here. Let me bring you guys out a bit, which is the Pointer bright colors. These are their colored pencil from their premium line. So I'll be using this to kind of enhance some of the highlights and shadows of my illustration. As you know, it is mixed media, so it should be able to handle both markers and colored pencils. So now that you know what I am doing, let's get to that coloring. Okay, guys, as you can see, I started here with one of the strategies that I was working with the yellows with this illustration is I discovered this new way of blending and this new way of coloring really with markers. I like to start off with my darkest color first and then add in my lightest color to kind of blend it out. But one of the things that I was battling, well, one of the things that I was struggling with this paper is that this paper absorbed marker ink really fast. But it's okay, it's not the fault, it's just the nature of a mixed media paper that it does absorb marker ink really, really fast. You'll see me there putting on my dark color, then quickly trying to blend it out with my light color. And I have this issue that I love to cap and recap very quickly. I love to take off the cap, then recap, cap, and recap. So even though the marker ink does absorb and dry very quickly on this paper, and I was struggling with that, I was also struggling with my nasty habit of capping and recapping. And you see me there doing the same thing, going in there with my darkest color and then trying to blend it out with the lighter color. In this instance, I wasn't too mindful about the blending issues because I knew I was coming in there with colored pencils anyway, so I could have kind of covered up some of those blending inconsistencies I may have had because the paper dried too quickly on me. I wasn't really looking at it that I wasn't really too mindful of, like I said, blending inconsistencies. One of the things I actually enjoyed using this paper for the most part. You know, even though in the beginning I kind of struggled with the blending of the markers, I actually enjoyed it because by the time I got to this point of the illustration, I've already had a handle on how to blend and reblend with this paper. The other thing that some of the things that was also an issue, not only the drying time of this paper, but also how it absorbed the ink so quickly. It was like magic. It made me do a double take. So not only did it dry quickly, but it also absorbed the paper quickly. And another strategy that I was using, even though it dried quickly and absorbed the paper kind of quickly, I didn't want to color within the same area. So that's the reason why you see me jumping around on the piece. I did this, but I didn't do the whole bee, the subject of the piece, the focus bee. I didn't do all of it because I really wanted to give the ink time to dry. It dries quickly, but I wanted to give that time to dry because this wasn't going to take me all day to do. You know, I was finished with this piece within like 20-25 minutes. So it wasn't going to take me all day to do. So I wanted to give that time to dry and to prevent any bleed over. I didn't want, you know, when the ink bleed over into another piece. I am using the darkest gray that I have here, which is cool gray number 9. One of the darkest gray I have, which is cool gray number 9. I'm not really a person who likes to use black. I prefer to use my dark grays. So it was cool gray number 9, and then I used the second lightest color to that I have in this line, which is the cool gray number 5, and that was how I was able to highlight the piece. It was actually at this point I realized that my focus bee didn't have any wings. I literally forgot to draw the wings on him, so it's like, okay, you make the story up as you will because he doesn't have any wings. But for the other little bees, they're just there. They're just plain colored, what's the word, just plain wash. It's just a plain wash. For the branch, I did the same strategy, went in there with my darkest color and then kind of blend it out with a lighter color, and that strategy really works. It was like really trying to get a handle on this blending technique that really works for me. I think you'll see me after doing the branches go in there with colored pencils, and I really enjoyed using those Pointers Premium Bright Color pencils because it really reminds me of the Prismacolor Juniors. Actually, I forgot that I added a few more colors to this. I added the warm gray number 9 so that I could color the hold for the hive and the antennas for the bee, and the eyes I added a green because, like I said, I don't like to use black a lot. So yeah, I'm showing you what I've done so far, the colors that I've used so far, and now I'm going in there with the Pointer Premium Bright colors. And like I said, it really reminds me of the Prismacolor Juniors. And the Prismacolor Juniors is soft, but it really does have a stiffer, tougher core. So it's not as, the core is not as soft as Prismacolor Premium, but the lead itself is very smooth, even though it's a much harder lead. It's a smooth lead and it's very opaque. And like I said, that's the reason why I chose this. And I'm going in there with my warmest brown to kind of cover up some of those blending inconsistencies that I have on the hive for this. And then I'm going in there now with gray. Now I actually started with silver because the silver in this set is not really an glittery silver, so it's more like a gray than a silver. And that's the same thing. I kind of made that kind of light, so you see me there going in with straight black to kind of dull off some of that silver. And the same thing, the gold in this set is not really a glittery gold, it's more like a warm yellow, so I was able to kind of use that to kind of smooth it off, and the green. And I think after here I will be using some white for the eyes, and then it kind of looks like it needs something to blend it all together. You know, it looks fine, but it kind of looks like it's segmented, like everything is existing in its own universe. So I wanted to bring it all together, and hence that's why I use a darker blue, but I kind of put it on lightly just to kind of show that this bee exists within the same universe as the hive. And guys, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this. Thank you so much. And I think I'm gonna wrap this up here, and you'll see me in the end piece. Enjoy the rest of this video, guys. Wow. This was a beautiful experience. Yeah. It was a beautiful experience. I really enjoyed using this paper, as I would have told you in my coloring piece. But I noticed that when I used the chisel end of the markers, where it really used a lot of ink, it kind of bled through a bit, but not to a huge amount, just a bit. These were the areas where I used the chisel end of the markers, and it kind of dumped a little bit more ink than I needed to. But this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed using this with this, doing this mixed media piece. Guys, let me know, have you ever used this paper before? What are your thoughts about it? What do you think of my use of this paper in my art style, using my art techniques? Let me know all those beautiful goodness in the comments below. And thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.